Hey everyone, Aaron here. This is my 53rd review on this channel, and that's of Absolute Duo. So, Absolute Duo. Huh. This, if you can't notice already, I have kind of disdain for the show. Absolute Duo is your typical, I think, everything anime, in that you have action, you have harem elements, romance, etc. And not to get into like kind of, I want to actually review this. I'm not going to just keep ranting, but this show is what I kind of, it's one of those shows that I have to say stands for what can be done wrong in anime. I'm telling you right now, it's a lot. This show does a lot of things wrong. So the main concept in Absolute Duo is interesting, at least in the beginning, in that what people do is they have abilities that they can summon strong weapons based on their inner psyches and inner powers. So, for example, some people could summon giant spears, other people could summon swords. And our main character is one of the rarities, which is unseen in most cases, where he can summon a shield. He can't actually summon something that physically does damage, but more so acts as defense, which is very unusual for the kind of concept that the show presents as the show progresses. Now, he goes to an academy where the whole point is that they're trying to show off who can become an absolute being, where whoever actually is able to win against all of the students as they progress and as they learn to kind of upgrade their skills and become stronger will become a strong being that will have unlimited powers. And what he ends up getting is happening to our main character is he ends up getting paired up with another girl who has twin blades, and together they become this kind of unique fighting force in that one's the defense unit and then one is attacker. And I'll tell you, Absolute Duo's best aspect of it is the kind of concept of fighting. The fighting in the show is pretty good, and I actually like that the main character is not your typical hero. I mean, him having a shield is very odd. Main characters in most anime or in video games in general always carry swords or something that does damage, guns, whatever. He has a shield, and I think that represents his character. I mean, the one thing he actually has actual attack is that he's able to summon a strong physical punch, which he could gather energy around him at the cost of a lot of his stamina, and actually punch people and almost knocking them back or breaking bones in the process. But he acts in the Absolute Duo. He acts as a kind of defense unit, and I'll tell you that's where the show's interests, or the interesting part of the show, actually stop. Everything after the show, after that concept, is bad. The story's bad. Nothing about this is not like unique and per se. But besides the main character, everything else is something that you can figure out is going to happen right away. You figure out who the frail girl is. You figure out what's going to happen to her at one point. You see who the kind of who the warriors are. You see the ones that are the willing ones of who's going to fall in love with the main character, who's not, who's going to hate the main character. Everything is very cliched, and everything in the show is like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. I called it. I called it. And even if you're not, if even if you're new to the anime realm, you could figure out half the stuff that's going to happen in the show. There's a lot of lewd stuff that happens in the show. I think constantly they have the main character getting sexually assaulted in his sleep by the girl because they're the only duo unit that actually sleeps together in the same room, despite them being different genders. Because most of the show has girls paired with girls or guys paired with guys, etc. Because these two are paired together, they have to share the same bedroom. And at first it's kind of funny, but then it's kind of just odd and lewd at times, and it's not. Again, it's not. This show is very bad. I'm just gonna say it that way. I don't want to rant and rave about the show all day. There's a lot of people that I talked to that actually dislike the show completely, and when I watched it way back when it first came out, I remember disliking the show even weekly by weekly watching it, and not because I was going to review it. I never planned at the time to even review stuff, but I just always would tell people stay away from Absolute Duo if you could. And that's why if I have to give this show an A through F, I give it a D. It has, again, a very interesting main character. It has some decent animation, decent fight scenes, but other than that, everything about the show is just utter trash. The main character, his plot is very unique. Is not very unique. Excuse me. You could tell what's gonna happen in all the characters. The art style is okay. It's not really unseen before, but just bottom line, this show is done very poorly, and it's a hodgepodge of just concepts that don't work. You have harem elements that don't work. You have a love triangle that doesn't work. You have fight scenes that technically sometimes work and sometimes are just like, oh, okay, that's gonna happen. I know, I called it. That's gonna happen. And I hate anime like that. I really do. I just think that the show had potential and just kind of washed it away. But anyways, guys, I hope you liked this review, even though I kind of ranted and raved. I promise not next week, excuse me, tomorrow's review will be way better. And as always, please like, comment, subscribe if you liked my reviews. And until I pass across again, have a good one, everyone. Bye.